welcome to day 10 of our Created to Hear God devotional. You made it. We're on day 10. And today we're going to finish the whole series with the question, how do I figure out what my primary type is? I want to start with a quote from one of my favorite authors, A.W. Tozer. He says, God communicates with us through the avenues of our minds, our wills, and our emotions. The continuous and unembarrassed interchange of love and thought between God and the souls of the redeemed men and women is the throbbing heart of the New Testament religion. So, as we're talking about hearing God's voice, we went through the 4 different ways. And again, those are just starting points to hearing God. I want to be clear. The reason we learn our prophetic personality is never so we can check a box. It's always about staying connected. It's always about an intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. It's always about connecting with our Creator every single day. So if your goal is to hear God's voice so that you can be amazing and show the world how amazing you are, you're not going to have that sense of connection that you're supposed to have when it comes to interacting, because it's not just through you, it's to you. That's what's most important. So let's talk about this for a minute. How do we figure out what our prophetic personality is? I mentioned this in the beginning, but I want to review. There are 3 ways in which we're interacting. So prophetic is how God shows up in your world. Personality is how you show up in your world. And then prophecy is how God shows up through you to the world. So a lot of times we go right to prophecy, but I want us to really stay with prophetic personality because that's how he interacts. So it's very important that that he interacts with you, but that you know how he does. Because once you understand your uniqueness and the personal way in which he created you to hear him, you start to see your worthiness. You start to see how loved you are and how uniquely you've been made. So why is this important? Well, here's how we begin to define our primary type. Will you have all 4 types? Yes. Will they be different seasons of life, more elevated than others? Yes. But why is it important to find the number 1? Because we want to know how your intimate relationship with God works. You want to stay connected, and your primary type is the most connecting of all the types. It's most important. If I have 5 love languages, I'm going to have all 5 of them interacting in my life with my husband. I'm going to show him affection. I'm going to affirm him. I'm going to do some acts of service. All of that's going to be there. But I need to know the one that most speaks to him, because that has the most value to him and that has the most intimacy connected to it. I don't dismiss all the other ones. I just want to identify it. So here's some questions you can help to identify your primary type. The first one is, how does God speak to me rather than just through me? So you might have it, thus saith the Lord, or a dream or an emotion. And those are awesome to be a feeler, knower, seer. But what if God speaks to you as a knower? And that's the most intimate way he interacts with you. It's very important to understand that he's not a stage parent. He's not trying to get you to go share with everybody his words and you're just a vessel. No, you're his kid. You're not just a vessel, you're his kid, and he wants to interact with you. Second, how did God speak to me at the beginning of our relationship? How did he get your attention? You might go, I don't know. I never really thought about it. Well, go back to when you were a kid or in high school or in college, when you first met God and you started interacting with him. How did that happen? Did you cry a lot? Did you have this emotional experience? Or did you hear him say your name or hear him say something that you knew was real and that affected you? And you want to go back. What was that thing? Because you might have grown in all the other areas, but that was the moment he got your attention. And then third, have I been so distracted by how God speaks through others that I've actually not allowed myself to just have space to find how he speaks to me? And have I actually been stuck in envy or even discouraged because the world elevates the knower or elevates the seer around you, but you as a feeler have never been acknowledged? Understand that's really important. And then lastly, what has hurt me the most deeply? And there's more to that. You're going to want to get into the book because there's so much more to that. But where have I experienced the most pain in hearing God's voice is sometimes linked to how he interacts with you. Another one is, what do I need most from God? It's a way that I find out what my love language is with my husband. What do I most need? I might be getting acts of service all day long, but I mostly need a hug. So that's what I need. And if you can identify what you need from God, it's often linked to how he speaks to you. And then how do I communicate God to others? What's the thing that I would be offended if people didn't know that God interacted with them around? If you're like, I want people to know that he cries with those who cry. I want people to know that they can just know the truth and it sets them free. Well, often that's linked to your prophetic personality, the primary one that's important to you. So there's a lot of things to understand about this, and there's a lot of ways to identify your primary type. But here's what's most important. And I'm reading out of page 109. No matter how clearly or accurately you feel you can pinpoint your prophetic personality, here's what I want you to know. At various points in your walk with God, you'll experience each of the types. Familiarize yourself with each one will help you catch more of what God is speaking to you and to others. You'll have greater insight into such things as why your best friend always feels something spiritual is going on, or why your mom always seems to so intuitively wise and knows what you don't know. And as you get to know each personality type, you can work on expanding them in your life, even though you probably have a dominant mode. Learn about all of them, and it gives you a chance to develop them further. Most importantly, when you understand how God communicates with you, it helps you become more effective in serving his purpose. The key to understanding how God made you and to make the most of your strengths, getting it can make a huge difference in how you live your life and pursue your goals. It's all about embracing who you are and trusting he made you as he did on purpose. Now let's explore the keys to developing your prophetic personality. Well, the rest of it's in the book. I'm sorry, it's only a 10-day study. But again, the next part of the book is about developing them. How do you grow in them? Finding your weaknesses, your strengths, and how to identify it in others. I think what's most important is that God is diverse. He created all of us uniquely and personally, and ultimately he speaks to us in only ways that he can because we're his kids and we belong to him. So I hope that this study has opened up your heart to see that God is speaking and that he's proven to be speaking to you your whole life. I hope that it's also given you empathy to understand that others don't actually hear God like you do, and to stop maybe expecting them to, but to honor the unique ways in which they're encountering God. And most importantly, I hope that you grow in your connection with God because he is the source of all things. He is the one that gives us abundant life. My prayer for you in the end of this study is that this is just an invitation to begin the conversation with God for the rest of your life. That this is not a one and done. This is a continual relationship that you get to build as deep and as long as you want to, because he loves you, he created you, and he desperately wants to communicate with you. All right, that's it for now. If you love the study, let me know, post it on your socials. You can also go on Amazon if you got the book and leave me a review. That means the world to me. And it's really the only way people find out about these kind of resources is by your help. So I just want you to know it's important. If you buy the book or you listen to the book, go leave me a review. That would bless me so much. And honestly, it helps resource us to get more things like this out there. Until next time, it's been an incredible annual study together. And I'll see you, if nothing else, next year on our annual Bible study. God bless you.